Hello, welcome back to Messing About with Models with me, John. Today we're going to be doing some kit building and we're going to find out just how easy it is to build these wagon kits. And we're going to test it out by getting a 7-year-old to build one. Stay tuned to the end to find out how it compares to the one I build and also to one of Bachmann's. So let's dive in and find out just how easy these kits are to build, and anyone can do them regardless of skill level. Well, here's the kits that we're going to be building today, and we just need a few simple tools. We're starting out with the Daypole former Airfix 16-ton steel mineral wagon kit, which is a fairly simple kit to build. It's been around for a number of years. I've found a Parkside kit that I haven't built, which is this 16-ton steel mineral, but in the French style. We'll use plastic magic glue. I've got a craft knife, a set of snips, and a couple of nail files just to file off any flash or anything like that. Just need to open up the packet. Obviously, because Austin is 7, I'm going to be doing some of the cutting for him, just to make sure everything stays safe. Daypole kit comes with some instructions, but I'll need to go through them with him. The kit hasn't changed. If you want to see the build that I did of that exact same kit, then there's a link just up above on the screen now. Just put all the wheels safely in the and what I'm doing is just holding bits in place for Austin to glue. Some of these kits, it can be quite difficult to make sure the bits are in the right place and stay in the right place whilst the glue sets. Plastic Magic doesn't take too long to set, normally only about 10 minutes or so. Now he's moving on to the body. And now I'm going to start building my kit here. I actually didn't have any instructions with this. I don't know where they'd gone. Kit's been sat in a cupboard for quite a while. And unlike the Daypole kit, this one has got metal brass bearings for the wheels. And as an upgrade to the Daypole kit, you can probably put those in. That will give you much finer running. Wheels will run a bit smoother, although I've never found too many issues with Daypole kits, just with the axles running in the bare plastic. But obviously with reduced resistance, especially if you have a long train of them. So proceeding very similarly to the Daypole one, attaching the sole bars to the floor of the wagon and then putting in the brass bearings. Probably should have done that before I attached the sole bars to the floor of the wagon. And now just trying to build up the sides. Very easy to do. Handy to use the squares on the mat to be able to do that. Just to make sure that the corners are at a nice right angle. Obviously, if there's any flash on the edges, you can just file that down. Quick dab of glue. Hold it in place. To say, I did have a bit of trouble trying to get this nice and square, so I'm not quite sure what the problem was. Anyway, whilst I was letting that dry, make sure that was a good set, I just started adding some of the details onto the chassis. Trying to get the brake handles on. I think the difference here is with the daypole kit that Austin was building, there were little holes and little lugs on some of these parts which allowed him to clip them into place and then add a dab of glue, whereas with this one you literally just had to sort of hold it in place and hope it was in the right area. I think it's probably one of those things where it would have been handy to have one of those extra hand things with all the clips so that you could hold the wagon in place whilst you were working on adding an extra bit of extra part, the next part. But you know me, I just sort of dive straight in and try to get things done as quickly as possible. All worked out in the end though, I think. It was noticeable also that a lot of the details on the Parkside kit were a little bit finer, or the plastic parts were a little bit thinner and a little bit sharper in detail. There was a bit of flash on the kit, which I didn't see too much of on the daypole kit. But again, generally the pieces were quite good. I think this particular wagon is one of the older ones from Parkside, and I don't think Pico have done anything particularly to change this kit or updated it in any way, other than including the set of transfers, which if you've got one of the older Parkside kits, I don't believe they actually came with transfers. You had to get those separately. Again, lacking the instructions, I wasn't quite sure. There seemed to be two different sets of buffers on this kit. There was a set on the grey sprue and there was a set on the black sprue. And the awkward thing is the ones on the grey sprue didn't seem to fit into the shanks of the buffers on the body. again, the instructions probably would have helped, and maybe these are a particular type of buffer. I don't know whether the Wagon had different types of buffer. Quite a few of these kits give you optional parts. I'm not quite sure what you would have done to make those grey ones fit. So I opted to go for the black ones. There were some buffers on the black sprue, and those actually fitted quite nicely. Did need a little bit of care in making sure that they stayed in place whilst the glue set. Then we moved on to painting them, which I think was maybe Austin's favourite part of this. I'm using weathered black on the chassis of mine. Austin had the Daypol kit comes with a coal insert, and he was using, I've got a coal black, and also which he was using to paint the coal, but he wanted to mix up the blacks to create some different shades, and he was doing that. He was painting the coal and painting the underframe of his Wagon, and just mixing that. I'm also using some Rail Match Early Freight Grey on the body, because although the kit itself is grey, I don't know whether you could get away with painting it at all. Maybe you could. I suppose especially if you were weathering the kit afterwards, which we will probably do at some point, then you could maybe get away without that. And then moving on to the transfers. Now this was quite tricky. Obviously I cut out the transfers for Austin's Wagon. He managed to get on the white stripe. His Wagon has an end door, so it has a white diagonal stripe to indicate which end the end door is at. And he was able to put that on there quite easily. However, the numbers of the kit, the numbers of the Wagon, and the weight of the Wagon, which is a little tiny transfer which says 16 tons, he needed a bit of help with that because they were quite small bits to get out of the little dish of water that we had. My Wagon doesn't have an end door, so there's no diagonal stripe on it, but there is a large patch which includes the number and the weight, and then obviously also the details of the weight of the Wagon on the other corner. Again, the lack of instructions didn't come with any details of exactly where to place these, so I tried to look up online where these would go, and I think I've got them right. Again, probably a bit of weathering will help with hiding that. Very, very fiddly thing that doing the transfers. It actually took quite a while to sort of soak in the water, and just needed to leave them to soak until the transfer was just about to float off of the backing paper. And I did find that took a little bit longer than I imagined or remembered. So make sure you leave plenty of time for that. I wasn't quite sure what was the easiest way to take them off. I had a little pair of tweezers as long with my craft knife, and I found that the craft knife was okay, but I think there was a little bit of glue or something on it, which meant that the transfer kept. I was trying to slide the transfer off the knife and onto the wagon. Just kept getting caught on whatever it was on the knife. So maybe if it would have been a clean knife, it would have been okay. Let me know down in the comments how you get your transfers onto your wagons. So now let's look at the final results. There's Austin's wagon. Okay, some of his transfers are a little bit skew-whiffed, but overall that's a really good effect there. Here's mine. Okay, I probably haven't done a great job with that transfer on the left there, the patch there. And here's the Bachmann wagon, straight out of the box. Recommended retail price for these are, I think, £30, and you can pick them up for a little bit less. But the kits are just over £10 each. So a bargain. Well, thank you for watching. If you want to see more kit building, click on the video on the left. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to be notified of new videos. And YouTube have got this video to recommend to you as well. Thanks for watching.